morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hello. Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Hi. Hi, everyone. How
Hello.
are you? How are you today?
Hi, sir.
Hi. Not many people here today at the moment.
Hi, Jughead. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, how's it going? How is everyone?
Good, thank you.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Sleepy.
We got sleepy today.
The
What?
weather, maybe the weather over there.
Okay, yeah, possibly that's what it is. I know that I've been a bit sleepy recently as well. But okay, excellent. Nice to see everyone. Hi Nazia. Hi. So just in case I haven't, I'll just call out your names. Good to see you, Kevin. You've been in the class for a while, Kevin.
Yes,
Waiting.
sir.
Very keen. That's good to see.
Thank you.
Okay. Jennifer, hi. Mihaela, hello. Andrea,
Hello.
nice to see you. Shahani, RJ, Nazia, hello. Nice
Hello,
to
sir.
see you all. Okay, so let's get, I think we should get started. We've got a lot to do today, so I think we should. Let me just show this here. I'm going to start recording the class. Right, okay, so this is TTM English, as you well know. This is the language class where we look at grammar, which is IELTS OET. And what we're going to be looking at today is relative clauses. Now, I'm sure you guys have done this before and you've had a look at it. You've definitely used them before, but whether or not you feel 100% comfortable with them is another matter. So let's get started. And what I'll do is I'll go to my study document. Before we do, let me just look at this. And what I'd like you to do is to just walk through with me. Let's just review some of the ideas of sentence structure that we've already looked at. So first of all, sentences are made of sections called, just call out the answer if you know it. Sentences are made of sections called
Clauses.
clauses. Excellent. Yeah, clauses. We'll put that there. Okay. Well, how about the next one? What would go here?
Clauses.
Clauses. I can't fool you, Jennifer. Okay. Clauses contain subjects or objects and
Verb.
Verb.
verbs. Very nice. Yeah, I like it. Yep. And verbs. We can connect clauses in a few ways, but the main ways are by using something and something clauses and something.
Relative.
Relative can go there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's good.
Conjunction.
Conjunctions, where would that go?
At the last one.
The last bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So conjunctions can go here as well. And what did
No
you look at?
relatives.
Well, what did
Participle.
you?
Participle.
Participle clauses.
Participle.
Yeah. So that's what we've been looking at this week. Now, of course, any language is strange. All languages are strange. All languages have got strange parts to them. And there'll be sentences that you look at sometimes and you think, why is there a comma there? I don't understand it. Sometimes people use commas for style, just for pausing. They're not necessarily separating a sentence into clauses. You sometimes see a comma in a list. I went to the shop to get milk, chocolate, and a new cat. Yeah. So it's not always the case that a comma is separating a sentence into multiple clauses, but the main ways are relative and participle clauses and conjunctions. What we looked at earlier in the week were conjunctions of contrast, which tend to be the ones that come up the most that people make mistakes with. Because and so and or, they don't seem to do it. Things like in addition, additionally, we would put that into another section. But yep, let's have a look today at relative clauses, and Alan will continue this class tomorrow in the next grammar class. Okay, so relative clauses. Does anybody know what a relative clause is? is there any way of working that out by looking at this phrase? I mean, look at the name. If I said to you, what is a relative? What would you say? If you could name me a relative, what would you say?
Related. Sister.
Say that again.
A sister.
Related.
Yeah, a sister is a relative. Okay. So why are they, is that person called a relative? What's the root of that word?
Relationship.
Yeah, okay, relationship. So if we think about it, you've got relate, that's the verb, to relate. Then you've got relationship type. Oops. Yeah, true. Then you've got relation. They are a relation of mine. Then you've got related, and then you've got relative. Oops, not relative. You've got relative. So we're coming from this root, this idea that something's related, it's connected. That's what a relative clause is all about. So if we take that away, what do you think a relative clause is? Just summarize that for me. So I'm going to ask Andrea, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, Andrea. So if you could define a relative clause, what do you think it would be? What would you say? A relative clause, what does it do? So we just said it's related. So what is it related to? Remember, when you've got a sentence, so say, for instance, we've got the main clause. Let's have a look at a main clause. So if I talk about my cat, okay, my cat was sick yesterday. And then I'm going to now give this subordinate clause. So I went to the vet. So this is my main clause. This is what I'm trying to tell you about my cat. Okay. And then I talked about an action that depended on that. So my second clause here is I went to the vet. So that's a main clause. So that's not a relative clause. It's a subordinate clause, which is a result of the first one. So if I say a relative clause and I think of the concept of related to, what do you think that the relative clause would do if I use the same thing? My cat was sick yesterday. What would I say?
Who
She
I
feel
wait.
So wait a second. Sorry, Andrea, give me the answer again. You said? Did you give me an answer, Andrea?
No, it was not me.
Oh, it wasn't you. Okay, it was Nazia. Sorry, Nazia. Sorry.
Yesterday my cat was sick and who I took to vet.
Ah, okay. Now this is it's a good effort, but that's a classic error. That's something that we're going to stop doing today. Okay, so my cat was sick yesterday. Who I took to the vet. Okay, classic. It's understandable, completely understandable that you would do it, but I'll show you a rule today that will help you avoid making that mistake. Okay, so I like the idea. What we're talking about here is you're trying to tell me something in here about the noun in this previous clause. So the noun in the previous clause is my cat, and you're trying to tell me something about my cat. But unfortunately, I can't use it this way, and I'll show you why later. But what I could do is this. I can do that. That's fine. Okay, so what we'll go through is we'll look at the differences between who and which, and then I'll show you why you can't put who in the way that you did it before. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to give you the definition. A relative clause gives information about the noun or the situation in the main clause. The main clause is is the main focus of what you're trying to say, the most important thing that you're trying to say. And a relative clause just gives extra information about it. So that's the function of it. Okay, so if we look at this example here, we can take this example and we can put it there as our second example. And then I can give you my first example. My cat, who is only 8 weeks old, was sick yesterday. Now, there's an argument here. You might say which. Let's put which. For me personally, I really like my cat and I treat it like a human. Apart from I do some things like cleaning it that I wouldn't do to a human. But sometimes people do, they refer to their pets as he or she. I don't know if that happens in your country, but sometimes people do it here. But normally when we refer to animals, we call them it, we call them which. So let's look at these two examples. I've said which. Okay, hi Nissan Salah. Hi, late arrivals. We've got Reshma, hello, nice to see you. Hi Jane, hi Benita. So my cat, which is only 8 weeks old, was sick yesterday. So just tell me, let me choose Nissan Salah. You're last in, so you have to be first to speak.
Hi, sir.
Okay, hello. Okay, so my cat, which is only 8 weeks old, was sick yesterday. What does which mean in this sentence?
My cat.
My cat, you're absolutely right. My cat. Now, just remind me, if we think about the structure of this sentence,
Mhm.
where is which in this sentence? Where do we put the word which in this sentence?
After comma.
Okay, interesting. Did you have a different voice there, Nissan Salah?
No, it's not me.
Okay, thanks, Mihaela. Right answer, right answer. Yeah, so after the comma, perfect. And where is the noun that we're talking about in the relative clause?
Noun.
Yeah, where's the noun in the main clause that we're talking about in the relative clause?
My cat in first word.
Yeah, it's before the comma, isn't it?
Yeah, before the comma.
It's before the comma. Okay, now that really is going to teach us a lot today. Thanks very much, Nissan Salah. Okay, Benita, are you there, Benita?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Benita. How are you
Hi,
today?
sir. I am fine, sir.
Okay, good. Good to hear. And it was your birthday the other day.
Yeah, November 1st.
Yeah, and you haven't been well. Someone
Yes,
told
sir.
me. So are you feeling?
Yeah, I had a surgery.
Okay, are you feeling better today?
Yeah, yes, sir. I am
That's
feeling
good.
better.
I'm happy to hear that. Okay, so my cat was sick yesterday, which was really stressful. Okay, so which here, what does that mean? What are we talking about now?
My cat.
No, we're not actually. And the reason why is this. Let me give you another. I'll go through the same questions. Where is the word which in the sentence?
After the comma.
Just after the comma, okay. And where is the cat?
Cat. In the beginning of the sentence.
It's
First
right at the
main clause.
beginning. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not the last one before the comma, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. When the noun that you want to talk about is not before the comma, you can't use this structure.
Okay.
Okay. So in this case, what I'm describing is the situation.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, the whole thing, the fact that my cat was sick yesterday, that is what was really stressful. Not the cat, because you can't describe a cat as stressful. You can
Yeah.
describe having a cat is stressful, or seeing a cat be run over is stressful, but a cat is not. So in this case, this is a really, really important thing. There's a difference between the ways that we use which, and the way that you can tell is where the noun that you want to talk about is in the sentence, which is why when Nazir gave her example before. Thank you, Benita. Nazir, can you put your microphone on? Are you there, Nazir? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Ah,
sir.
you are. Okay. My cat was sick yesterday. Who I took to the vet. Okay. Right. Okay. So, can you see why this is not correct now?
Yes.
Just explain it to me.
Because before comma there is a yesterday.
Yeah, it's not the cat, is it?
Yes.
Okay, now, I'm sorry, that took to the vet. So what we can do now is we can change it around. There is a way that we can use this. There's a way that we can use all of these words without changing any of them by just changing the order of the sentence. So how do you think that we can change the order of the sentence to make this okay?
I took my cat to the vet yesterday who was sick.
Well, no, that would be the same problem. I took my cat to the vet yesterday who was very sick.
Yesterday I went to the vet with my cat.
That's fine. Yeah, because he was sick. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But then you're not using a relative clause. That's what we're practicing here. We still can't do this one, Shahani, because we've still got yesterday here. I know we're moving the phrase my cat a bit further down the main clause, but it's still not good enough. Okay, we need something else.
I took
Okay,
my cat to the vet who was sick yesterday.
no, we can't, because let's look at that. This is interesting. Okay, so now who was sick?
Cat.
Well, we know that the cat
vet.
was, but yeah, but if I read that sentence, it's the vet who was sick. So why is it that the vet is sick?
My cat.
Well,
Oh, I
but why do I think the vet is sick in this sentence?
Before
Because
the comma. Before the comma.
It's just before the comma. There it is. So why would I take my cat to a vet who is sick? Oh, it's possible. Okay, maybe I arrived and knocked at the door and the vet said, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm sick. Okay, it's possible. But this is why we need to be careful sometimes. Some mistakes, like when you don't put an article before UK, for instance, everyone knows what you mean. There's no misunderstanding. But in this case, when you get the grammar wrong, you change the meaning of the sentence completely. So both of these are not what we want to say. So I think, Nissan Salah, you were going to give me the correct sentence.
My cat, who I took to the vet, comma, was sick yesterday.
Yeah. Now you can do that. You can do that, but it probably wouldn't be the best. I think the best way to do it is probably how Mahela said it earlier. I took my cat to the vet yesterday because it was sick. That's probably the best way to do it. But this just shows that you can. Or you can do this. Is there any
Yes.
other way that we could do it?
My cat, who I took, sorry, no, who
Well,
was
who was sick,
yesterday.
but now we
Oh.
can't just say I took to the vet. We can't do that. But we could do something else. We could put something like, let's use a modal verb of obligation. Had to go to the vet yesterday.
Yes.
Or we could use, what would it be if I use the passive here? Had to,
Went.
well, we can't say had to went. That wouldn't be passive. That'd just be the past simple.
Have to
Had to be.
Preferred,
be. Have to
So
be
what's the past participle of took?
Taken.
Taken, yeah. So, yeah, had to be taken to the vet yesterday. So, we've got lots of flexibility. We can put it different ways. But the thing that I'm trying to point out here is who and my cat. You can't put that there. You can't start talking about the noun unless it's directly before the comma. It's a really good trick for you guys to remember. If you see the noun up here at the beginning of the sentence, and it says which here, what they're trying to do is tell you about the situation and not about that noun, that one particular noun. So it's a cause of confusion. So definitely something really, really useful for you guys to learn. Now, let's go back to the basics. A relative clause gives information about the noun or the situation in the main clause. There are two types of relative clause. Now, the one that we've just looked at, and probably the most common type, is defining. Okay, we've got non-defining, definitely the most common, and then you've got defining. So the word defining here, I think that what we should do is think of it as essential and non-essential. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to give them colors. So the defining clauses, we're going to make them blue, let's say, and non-defining, we'll make those green. They're my favorite colors. Okay, so we've got non-defining and we've got defining. Now, what we need to do is to think about how non-defining and defining clauses work. Now, non-defining clauses, there's some noise coming through there. I'm just going to put on mute. I think that's a bit better. Yeah, okay. So non-defining means they are not essential to the meaning of the main clause. They are not essential to the meaning of the main clause. Okay, so if we just go and look at this again. Can someone remind me? So Kevin, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Kevin. Tell me about this sentence. Okay, I'm going to use this as my example of a non-defining clause up here. So we'll put that there. Where is the main clause in that sentence? Any idea?
My cat.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
sick yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. So my main clause, we're going to make the main clause as yellow. Okay. So if I say my cat was sick yesterday, do you understand what that means, Kevin?
Yes, sir.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay. But then I just wanted to give you a little bit of extra information. It's useful information, but it's not essential. You don't absolutely need it in order to understand what the main clause means. If we compare that to a defining clause, an example I always use is, let me talk to Jennifer.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Jennifer. In Dublin, do people spit on the street?
No.
They don't do it. Okay. Do you like that when people spit on the street?
No, not at all.
Oh, me neither. It's disgusting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would go even further. I don't like the people who do it. Okay. So I would write this sentence. I hate people who spit on the floor. What's that? Let's put on the street. Okay. I hate people who spit on the street. So who do I hate, Jennifer?
The people who spit on the street.
Okay. So if I look at this, where is the main clause and where is the and where is the defining relative clause? Where do you think it begins?
I ate.
I hate.
Yeah.
I hate
No. We always know, okay, a basic rule again. Relative clauses generally begin with a pronoun. Okay, so the pronouns we've used so far have been who and which. So where do you think it begins, Jennifer?
Who?
Who. That's where our relative clause begins. I'm going to make that blue. Okay, and then where's the main clause?
I hate.
I hate people.
Yeah.
Okay, so our non-defining relative clause begins there because that's where who is. That's how we know. That's how we're connecting the two clauses together. Same here. It's which that enables us to do it. If I put my cat is only 8 weeks old, was sick yesterday, that's not right. We need the relative clause to be introduced by the pronoun. Okay, so when we looked at this one, Jennifer, I said to Kevin, where's the main clause? And it's my cat was sick yesterday. And he understood that completely. It was a whole complete idea. The extra thing that I said is just some interesting information, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, what happens if I take away the relative clause?
You won't understand it.
I hate people. Is that true?
That's not true.
I don't hate people. You know me, Jennifer. I don't hate people. That means I hate all people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true. I only hate people who spit on the street.
On the street, yeah.
So here we've got a defining relative clause. We cannot remove this from the sentence. But with this bit, we can remove it from the sentence.
Mm.
Now, let's think about the evidence. How do we know that we can remove it from the sentence? We've got one. It's not important to the meaning. It's not essential. But there's something else. If you were a detective, a grammar detective, there's another way that you can identify that this is a relative, a non-defining relative clause. What is it?
If you remove that clause, your
Mhm.
sentence will still make a sense.
It will still make sense. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly true. But if
And
I
the
was
grammar is still correct, yeah.
the grammar would still be correct, but the grammar would still be correct there, but it just wouldn't say the right thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you're really trying to say. So that's why we talk about the meaning and not the grammar. So
Oh, okay.
tell me again, though, look at something else. What's another difference between, my cat was sick yesterday. Whoops. Which was very stressful. Okay. We've got my cat was sick yesterday is our main clause. And then I've got which introduces the non-defining relative clause, which I'm going to make green. Look at these two examples here and compare them to this one, Jennifer. What's the big difference? Okay, we're using a different pronoun for a start,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not important. That's not important. I could put here, I love food, which is spicy. That's another example, isn't it? If I just say, I love food, that's not true. It's just
Yeah.
the food which is spicy that I love.
Yeah,
So
there's no comma.
yes, that's exactly it, Jennifer. There's no comma. If there's a comma, that tells you straight away, it gives you some evidence that this is non-defining.
Yeah.
We don't actually have to have it. If there isn't a comma, we need it. So,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, let's talk about the dog who lives next door. Okay, the dog who lives next door. I hate the dog who lives next door. So if I said,
yeah,
one, say that again.
there'll be a comma
Where?
after the dog.
So I hate the dog who lives next door, like that. Does that? So I can remove this bit and it wouldn't matter. I hate the dog.
Because it's just one dog.
Yeah, but
A particular dog who lives next door.
but if you said to me, if you said, like, hi Jennifer, how are you today? And you said, oh God, oh, I really hate the dog. I would say the dog, and then you'd have to say the dog which lives next door. So you have to have this bit so there's no comma.
Yeah, okay.
Because you're talking about the dog who lives next door, not the dog. You could say to me, I hate the moon. And I would say, oh yeah, I know the moon. Because there's only one, isn't there? One moon for us.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But in this case, we need to have it. So this is a noun phrase, isn't it? If we think about it, let's go through the grammar. Subject plus verb.
Mm-hmm.
I hate. And then what are we left with next? Noun.
Oh, no, yeah.
Noun phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the dog who lives next door. Often we use these non-defining relative clauses as part, these defining relative clauses as part of noun phrases. Okay, so in this case, though, what's a different color? So we'll change that to, it changes to purple. It now becomes a noun phrase, a part of it. So it's really interesting that we look at it. We can divide the sentence up here and say that's the main clause. And then we can divide the sentence up here and say, well, actually it's subject verb. And then we've got the noun phrase, which includes a relative clause inside it. So what we see here is if we understand these things, if we can use them without making errors, open up a whole world of opportunity for our writing and our speaking. Okay, thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to just stop the stream there. If anyone's got any questions, please let us